I started just getting calls from management teams, I think in like 21, asking if I would collaborate with another designer on a project. And it happened like, I think like 3 or 4 times. And it was
Oh,
kind of the first time that it had ever happened with me. Like I never really had anybody say, "Hey, we really want you to design this show, but we also want this designer. Would you guys join forces?" And I mean, I loved that process. It was really great. There's gonna be a better way to create. Like I should just figure out a way to do this and create with a team.
sorry, you just caught me sipping some of my coffee cult, Geezer's Grind coffee. And how are you today? Thanks for joining me. Nothing, of course, going on in our industry at all right now, other than these tariffs. Whoa. So I've been talking with a lot of my friends who were at the show in Germany this week, the trade show in Germany, PLS, Pro Lighting and Sound, I guess it's called. And of course, tariffs were a big topic at the show, where I would say a large percentage of the gear that comes into our industry comes from China. And, many of these manufacturers are in a bit of a panic right now. It's obviously a little bit more than a wee bit uncomfortable at the moment, when Trump just keeps saying 104%, 125%. And, whether you like the reason it's being done, you like the guy, doesn't really matter at this point. It's a challenge that I think our industry will find ways to overcome. And so I know my company has certainly had challenges with it, because we do business in 100 different countries. And so all of these tariffs have caused just mass disarray. And fortunately, we have systems in place to handle it. So we've done a pretty good job so far. And I'm hopeful, and I'm even confident that this is probably going to create some policy globally, some great international policy that probably is going to drop tariffs and end up in lower costs for everyone instead of higher costs. We can hope, at least. And so today's guest, Rae Routhier, is an award-winning show designer and creative producer behind some of the most iconic live performances of the past 2 decades. She doesn't seem that old. Her work with artists including Coldplay, Green Day, The Weeknd, Paramore, Muse, Rihanna, and so many more has been seen on global tours and major broadcasts, including the AMAs, The Voice, and The Tonight Show. A 2-time Parnelli winner and co-founder of SRae Productions and recently The Playground, Sooner is known for blending powerful storytelling and cutting-edge production. She also co-founded Even, a nonprofit promoting access and equity in the live events industry. From arena shows to immersive experiences, Sooner continues to lead the way in redefining what live entertainment can look and feel like. And I can't wait to see her and talk to her today. So please welcome Sooner Routhier. I've got notes. Hello, Sooner.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm so good. How are you?
I'm also so good. Well, I'm probably not as good. I'm not a multi-time award-winning creative designer, with everything in the world going for me, the largest tour other than maybe one. And, you've got it made right now. You're
Yeah,
kicking
we're lucky.
bote.
It's the weird name.
I don't think it's lucky. The weird
It's the
name
weird,
doesn't hurt.
it's the weird name.
Although,
Thanks, Mom and Dad.
there's like a lot of other successful people out there, like, Roy Bennett. That's not that
Yes.
weird. Like, he seems
He's
to be doing
amazing.
okay.
Yeah,
But
he's doing great.
so I'm
Big fan.
guessing the weird name doesn't hurt. And and no, I'm just making fun right now. But we celebrate
Thanks.
you've had
It's been fun.
you've had an incredible run, and I'm super proud of
Yeah.
you. And it's fun to
Thank
watch
you.
and fun to talk to you every once in a while and say, "Where are you?" "Well, I'm doing some massive award show in Vienna." And
Yes, I will be there on Friday.
yeah,
Not
we've just
for an award
discovered
show,
that
but
Yeah, we've just discovered that our lovely producer Sarah is going to be on a tour that you're going to be at the front end
Yep.
of. She's going to be out, I think, for 4 weeks or something, which
Yeah,
means
we're
I
just
have to
gonna.
do all her work plus mine.
There you go. We're just gonna go meet up in Vienna this weekend. It's cool.
Sounds
Totally
amazing.
low key.
Sounds amazing.
Super casual.
Yeah, sounds amazing. I think Vienna is one of the few European cities I have not been to.
Ah,
So,
I've been there, but I think I only had like half a day off there or something.
oh,
Like just enough time to like go for a run along the Danube and then go back to the hotel and drink a crap load of wine and do my show the next day. I think that's all I did. So
good for you. Sounds
Yeah.
fun. So, are you going to get to spend any time there this time? Mm-hmm. Oh,
yeah, I'm actually going over early, a day early. The lighting director slash my co-designer on the project and I are going to go watch Phantom of the Opera
Ooh,
at an opera house in Austria.
Very
in
cool.
Vienna, which sounds, I know, so fun. I'm excited about it. It's all in German, so with subtitles. I'm very
Yeah.
excited about it. And then we're gonna go get dinner and yeah, just going over. I haven't really explored that city much, so I figured I'd go over a little bit early just to check it out. And then
so just really one day though, right?
it's just one day, yeah. But I'll
Yeah.
be there for. I mean, we have a couple days worth of rehearsals, so I think I can't remember what day I'm there till, but it's. I think I fly back to the States in a week or something. Let's see.
Oh, okay.
Well, a little bit over that. Fly back home on the 20th.
So you got a bit of time. That'll be fun, and that's
Yeah, it'll be good.
That's Luminaires.
The Lumineers, yep. They're getting ready to kick off a massive cycle as they do.
Yeah,
In support of a new album, and yeah, they're fun. We're gonna have
Yeah.
a good time. I'm excited. And it's always a pretty chill rehearsal period too. Like we all just kind of, ease into it, get the show up and going and have a beautiful first show. And then, yeah. So hoping that will happen again this time.
super
Sure, it'll
cool.
be great. Yeah.
Super
So
cool.
hopefully I'll have a couple more dinners out in Vienna. We'll see.
What else have you got going on this year from a touring standpoint? I'm sure Coldplay just is the machine
Yeah,
that
Coldplay's
keeps
just
going,
going.
right?
Yeah, we actually in our Slack, our channel is called Coldplay Forever.
Yeah. Why would
which
you
is
stop?
great.
I mean, when you've got that machine, I mean, why
They're
would you
doing so
stop?
well.
You know?
Yeah, and they hit North America this year, which will be really fun because I'll get to go to a lot more of the shows, and I'm going to be
That's
at
cool.
Wembley in August with them. Yeah, I mean, we're really lucky. Like our little creative co-op is doing great. I don't know. I think we've got about 12 projects going at the moment. Getting
In the
ready
co-op?
to. Yeah.
Didn't it just start? Like,
Kind
you
of.
just announced it.
No, yeah, kind of. That was like a social media. They're just like revamp of some social media stuff.
Okay.
But it's been going since January of 22. But we kind of like didn't really announce we were doing much for about a year. And just because it's kind of a funky concept, so I just wanted to make sure that it was going to be successful, and I wanted to make sure that it was launched properly, nice and slow, and yeah. So we've got like we're doing Noah Khan, his festival stuff this summer. We've got Chris Stapleton,
Jeez.
which I'm
Damn.
so excited about. Yeah, I get to like listen to Chris Stapleton. And
Yeah,
hear
he's
for
amazing.
A lot. I'm so excited. It's some of my
Yeah.
favorite
His
music
voice
ever.
is just like,
It's
you could be in the grumpiest mood and it'll just make you go,
yep.
chill. You
Yeah,
know?
it's like
You
honey
can't
to
be
me. It's
unhappy.
So beautiful. Yeah, I'm really excited about that. We're working with a Latin artist named Manuel Turizo. I'm learning Spanish for it.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I feel like I'm betraying my French Canadian family by not sticking to French, but
So when he yells at you, you'll know what he's mad at, right?
he's so nice. I don't know if you
Is
can
he?
yell. He's the sweetest. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, we worked with him in the fall. We did an award show performance for him, and he is just the loveliest. I don't know. We've got some stuff. Alice Cooper's going back out in the
That's so
fall.
cool.
Getting ready for that.
This episode is brought to you by Mainlight, your go-to dry hire rental provider, bringing you the latest in lighting and stage equipment, from moving lights and control consoles to truss, LEDs, and rugged IP65 rated fixtures built for outdoor venues. Mainlight have everything you need to make your production shine. Whether it be a small theater venue, an outdoor stadium event, or a TV production set, Mainlight is the partner you trust with the gear you want. In addition to rentals, Mainlight offer new equipment sales from all of your favorite brands, as well as used sales on equipment pulled directly from their rental inventory. All used equipment is meticulously maintained and backed by a 60-day depot warranty, ensuring you can have confidence in every purchase. With 4 strategically located facilities in Teterboro, New Jersey, Wilmington, Delaware, Nashville, Tennessee, and Las Vegas, you get the reach of a national company with the personalized service of a local provider. Visit mainlight.com today to explore their rental options and even request a direct quote through their easy-to-use online ordering platform. So I want to learn about this because, I've watched a lot of people create collectives or whatever we want to call them. And you can kind of explain how yours works. I know how most of them work, where everybody kind of brings their work in. It's almost like a law firm where everybody brings their work in, throws it in the middle of the table. If you brought it in, you probably get a bigger cut, and then there's a percentage paid into the collective, and that covers like some back office expenses and stuff like that. And so it's really just a really cool way to share talents when additional talents are needed or whatever, and to also cover, expenses that everyone pays, things that are standard things that everyone needs to pay, whether it's HR or marketing or whatever it is, right? So that's pretty much explains it.
Nailed it. It's super transparent. Like everything is very open. And I mean, I started because I realized that there was just some expenses that I didn't know how to afford as an independent designer.
Right. That makes sense.
And I heard the same challenges from some other designers. And honestly, like for me, it just kind of happened organically. Like I started just getting calls from management teams, I think in like 21, asking if I would collaborate with another designer on a project. And it happened I think 3 or 4 times. And it was kind of the first time that it had ever happened with me. Like I never really had anybody say, hey, we really want you to design this show, but we also want this designer. Would you guys join forces? And I mean, I loved that process. It was really great. And so I was like, there's got to be a better way to create. Like I should just figure out a way to do this and create with a team. And it took I'd say it took a year to get everything sort of figured out and the best process. And yeah, we're growing enough where we're about to hire another full-time producer is what we call her, or liaison, somebody who basically is assisting on all of the project back-end work and dealing with contracts and insurance and negotiations and
that's cool. Yeah.
conference calls and blah blah blah, scheduling timelines. So we're about to hire another one, so we'll have 2 full-time.
And so do those people come from inside or outside the industry?
Inside.
Yeah.
And then and we're also looking to hire an assistant, and there's some good things happening.
A lot going
it's
on.
Working.
Yeah.
It's working. And it's probably not a crazy different concept because like you said, there's other co-ops or other collaborative collectives out there, whatever, any C word you put in there. Ooh. But I don't know. It's fun. It's been really good and successful, and people are really loving it. And
it's one of those things that when it works generally tremendously well. So I have a friend. You're probably not old enough to remember Freddie Laker, Sir Freddie Laker from England, who owned an airline. And he was the original discount airline going from New York to London. And it was $99 each way when it was unheard of. This was I think it was even the 80s, not even the 90s. Yeah. And Sir Freddie Laker was a very glamorous, very, just a really well-known, he was like Richard Branson, and it actually is one of Richard Branson's mentors that he always talks about, right? And so anyways, his son, Freddie Laker Jr., is a good friend of mine. And Freddie Jr. started a collective about, 6-7 years ago now. And what it was is he had digital agencies before, and he just saw an end to these digital agencies, and he saw additional needs. And he was very specifically involved with large venture capital firms and stuff, where he was being brought in as a turnaround CEO. And they'd always say, hey, do you know a CFO? Do you know a COO? Do you know a operations manager? Do you know a whatever? And so he just started building this team around him of these people. And he just came up with this concept to say, hey, you know, just come in when you need to, but don't be on my payroll when you don't need to. And it became a collective. And now that's probably a $40 million company, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
and
that's amazing.
He is just crushing it. And he's got marketing people, every C-suite person, every management level person, finance people, all of it. And it's just amazing how good it is.
I mean, I just think that people want to work differently these days. You know what I mean? Like I
True.
think that the mindset has changed significantly. And I'm finding like a lot, like I'm starting to work with a lot of, I mean, I guess no matter what, I'm going to be working with a lot of younger designers because I'm.
Yeah, it happens to me pretty much every day now.
So it's nice to work with like a younger generation of designers, and like they just want, a lot of them just want like a community to be a part of, as opposed to just being like, I did that on my own. And that's a very big mindset shift to what I, grew up in the business experiencing. So, and honestly, like for me, it's just, I mean, selfishly, it's just better. I just love it. It's just, I'm a very social person.
Thing too, right?
Yeah. I'm a social person. I like to be on, like, I'm in this office, in my office at home, and it's quite lonely unless the dog comes down and hangs out with me. So like we have our little virtual online office that we have on all day, and where people kind of pop in and out, and it's nice. Like
what do you use for that?
Right now we're using a program called Tandem. We were using a program called Around, which was amazing. But they sunsetted the app March 1st.
I have the greatest thing in the world that you have to have. Oh, and if you want tomorrow, when we have our other talk, I'll show it to you. It's called Roam. And
that's what I'm actually, it's on my list of things to do, is to test Roam.
If I didn't go to Mexico last week, it's I'm telling you right now, sooner don't even test it. It's yours. Trust me.
Do it.
It's life-changing. Like I have 9 people who are 2 in Greece, 1 in India, 2 in Brazil, 2 in Canada, a couple in the US. I mean, just scattered around the world. And like my operations manager has been with me 7 years. I've never met him. I've never met him. I mean, and I feel like I know him like my brother practically, but I've never met him.
I love this.
Is amazing.
Okay, great. I'm going to try that because like I said, it's on my list of things to do today. I tried another one called Butter.
Yeah.
It crashed my computer multiple times.
Yeah. It was
Tandem
all good,
is fine, but
Butterface,
you
right?
can't. Yeah. Hey.
But
So
I can give you an introduction to Rome too, because like I was supposed to. There was a big party at the founder's house last week. I don't know why my screen just froze. There was a big party at the founder's house last week. He's got this mansion on the beach, and in Miami, and
nice.
But I was in Mexico, so I couldn't go. But he's just a super guy. His team are unbelievable, and the features that it has are just ridiculous and
great.
It's solid too. Like I've been with it. That's all good. He's excited about Rome too. I was with them like 2 years ago when it was in beta, and
nice.
And then beginning of last year, I think it went to the full version, and it's the one piece of software I always say that you'd have to drag it from my bleeding hands and fight me for it, because I wouldn't give it up ever. So.
That's the way we felt about Around, and we're so sad that it went away.
Wow.
Yeah, because it could just disappear, like really small little bubbles, but people are still there, or you could I don't know, it's just really nice. The screen sharing and the notations on the screen were really important to us, because we'll pull up a plot and you're drawing on it. But the Roam features, I think, are better with screen sharing, because you can like draw lines and So,
well, and they love the creative industry too. Actually, the founder grew up in theater. And
great.
He was, I think, a singer or an actor or something. And so, they're very theatrical. Whenever they do a demo or a presentation, it's very theatrical. And he's, it's amazing. Anyways, enough said. I'll show it to you tomorrow. And if you want to go see the demo, it's ro.am.
I I watched. Yeah, it's actually I have the app on my computer. I've been
Oh, do
trying
you?
to test. Yeah, I just have
Super
to.
cool.
It's the
Super cool.
next one I have to test, but I'm glad you're giving it a good winning endorsement. So I
Oh
think
yeah.
that's probably going to be the one we go to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's. I can't believe it hasn't taken over yet. Like just everyone uses
yeah.
it because
I
even companies that have people in office and then sort of a combined distributed staff, to me, that's like it's just the winning piece of software. Period. So,
yeah,
anyways, that said,
amazing.
there's my Rome pitch for the day.
Rome
I do
pitch.
love it that much. Like I really
Well,
do. I love
no, I
it.
get it. That's the way we were about around. And honestly,
Yeah.
some of our productivity and some of our like company culture has actually declined since that
Ugh.
app went away out of our.
Yeah, I can
So
see
we're
it.
like desperate to find something that works really well. So hopefully this will be it.
Yeah, I could totally see that. Like if you
Yeah.
took it away from us, my team had, I
Yeah.
don't know if they'd disappear and go play golf or if they'd be like sad or I don't know what would happen, but it wouldn't
Yeah.
be the same. Today's episode is brought to you by Elation Lighting. Elation is a privately held corporation established in 1992 and headquartered in Los Angeles. All products are developed and engineered in the USA with sales and support office locations in the US, Mexico, and Europe, and distribution via a worldwide dealer network.
What defines excellence? Is it found in form, function, or sheer strength? Perhaps it calls for more. It's unconventional, searching beyond what can be seen. It moves with grace, intent, and versatility, while others are content to remain unchanged. A true hero rejects the ordinary and embraces transformation. They ascend and become the paragon.
Yeah.
So-
It's not fun.
So,
Cool.
anyways, your collective, is it going to be all set up with like just similar designers, or are you going to have like different disciplines in there? So that if someone came to
yeah.
you and said, "Can you put a whole show together?"
We
we
do
need all
that,
of
yeah.
these things.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, like Manuel Tunes are the Latin artists that we're working for. We're doing choreo and styling as well.
Okay, that's cool.
So we do like, the full thing.
That's cool.
Yeah, and we've got some musical directors underneath our collective too, if that's needed. For us, it's really important that everybody remains autonomous. So, people do shows on their own and whatever. Like, I just think that's really important because it's not a cult, right? We're not like the cult of the playground.
Yeah.
It's just everybody needs to kind of do their own thing at the same time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, this will be, I think, the third project we do where we bring in choreo and wardrobe.
Yeah.
So it's
That's
nice because
cool.
you can like kind of take like the whole thing it's just that much more cohesive,
But how without getting into secrets or anything, how do you do, like if you said people can do their own projects and stuff, which is cool, but
Yeah.
at the same time, how does that work as far as like, you need a certain amount of profitability or
Right.
income or whatever you call it to be a collective that
Yeah.
functions properly. So how would that work? Like if I said, okay, these artists I'm going to put into the collective and these ones over here I'm keeping for myself. That's cool.
we keep it pretty lean and mean, honestly.
Yeah.
We don't have much overhead. It's pretty
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
That's cool.
It doesn't require that much. Yeah, and if we ever need like additional support, we hire freelance. So we get like a freelance pot of money.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's lean and mean. I mean, we're good. We're already on track.
Yeah.
First quarter. So we're
Good for you.
yeah.
Good for you.
Thanks. It's fun.
Well, I'm sure
I think-
everybody's like bringing in these shows and then you go, here's Coldplay. and the ticker just goes whoop like this, right? Oh, we got money. We can pay our bills now.
It's funny because sometimes it actually works against me because I get like, like I like doing smaller theater and like club shows. I actually
Yeah.
love that size show because it's a controlled environment. I mean, obviously you have to flex the size of the stage and everything, but
Yeah.
and the challenge is like people won't call, or like I'll talk to like a management friend, like, and they'll say, "Oh yeah, a month ago I had this artist that I wanted to bring to you guys, but we don't have Coldplay money." And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, we're that's okay. Like it's not, we don't charge that same amount on every single show. Like you can't. It's about time. Like Coldplay's out for a long, long time. They rehearse for a very long time.
Yeah.
They're building their show for a very, very long time. Like it's time and size and scope and the amount of work we put into it. But if like you're a smaller show, a theater show, you're maybe going to be in rehearsals for like a week tops, and
Yeah.
like your production side is going to be a lot less. Like so that means the budget's going to be less for us because we're not going to be, having to hire programmers for 6 weeks.
Also,
Yeah.
Mr. So-and-so, I've done more shows of your size than I have of Coldplay size. So,
Yeah.
there's only one Coldplay out there, and then the Rolling
Yeah.
Stones and Taylor Swift, and that's about it, right? Like everything else
Yeah.
is kind of dwarfed in comparison. So,
They're so fun though.
yeah, I like that whole concept, though, the collective concept. I think, again, from a lifestyle standpoint, the ability to size up or down as needed for different jobs, like if you need a co-designer or a choreographer or any of those other disciplines on a gig, you don't have to have them on your staff and
Yeah.
paying those monthly expenses and stuff. So
Yeah, it's been very, very helpful. And also just a lot of it is also like troubleshooting and creative concepts are that to me is my favorite thing, because like everybody can look at problems or challenges like different ways. So you always end up coming up with like the best solutions because
Yeah.
you're all like a challenge
imagine.
comes up and you're like, uh-oh, we need to fix this. And you don't have just one person trying to figure it out. You have
Yeah.
a collective of people trying to figure it out. And the same thing with design. Like we're currently designing a show that has to fit in like suitcase style luggage, but it's for like large theaters and arenas. So, and they're not carrying trucks. So how are we going to design? So we've all kind of come up with a cool solution, and it's going to fit in Pelicans and go to town.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So, but what about, so like, let's say I'm putting the Beatles back together and I see your ad in Live Design magazine or something, and I say, oh, well, this looks like a design firm that I'd like to hire. So that flies in over the top and lands in your social media inbox. Is it first come, first serve? Like whoever answers social media that day becomes the designer, or how, like, would you all just sit in a meeting and say, this is probably the best for so-and-so or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, it depends. Honestly, like a lot of times it'll come with a, hey, we really loved this show that you guys did.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, no brainer. That's these two designers, let's call and see availabilities and figure it out. Like most of the time, where they've gotten the inspiration from.
Yeah,
the call,
yeah.
right. And so we just do a really good job of making sure that, oh, okay, well, that was so-and-so and so-and-so. So let's like make sure that they are available for this.
Yeah.
And if they're not available to be on site or whatever, that's when the collective kicks in and we can sort of like add people into the mix to like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and you can obviously tell the client, Sooner's not available because she's whatever. But this designer has worked with Sooner for the last 3 years. They work
Yeah.
together very closely. They'll collaborate on your project, even long distance. We think this would be a great fit for you. And chances are they're going to be okay with that, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's cool.
I hope so.
Well, congratulations and good luck on
Thanks.
that. I love the artwork and the the
thank you.
presentation that you guys have kicked out. It looks really, really good, and I wish you the best.
Thanks. You gotta update that website, boy. Woof.
You have a few other things going on though too. You have the Even Network,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and so that I think you started a couple of years ago as well, right?
Yeah, that was in 2020, May of 2020.
A COVID baby.
COVID baby.
Yeah.
Still going, nonprofit. It's actually, the first cohort is actually at vendors in warehouses right now working. So it's a registered apprenticeship program for our business.
Very cool.
So, I don't know. We were just kind of thinking like, if you can be like an electrician for a house, wiring a house, but you have to be like an apprentice electrician before you actually get your, license to be an electrician. Why can't we do that with our business? Like,
Yeah.
be apprentice lighting tech or video tech or pyrotech. I say this, it's probably unpopular for me to say this, but I mean, if you think about pyro, it's essentially like the same stuff you have to do for plumbing, except toilets, obviously. But you've got gases and piping and fixings and stuff that you have to deal with all the time. So like, it's the same
I
thing,
guess
right?
though,
Like,
when toilets blow up, it's a completely different problem.
I mean,
Like,
honestly, like if I were working for a pyro company, I would probably just bring toilets out into the parking lot and blow them up anyway with products.
that's
But
funny. That's funny. I remember one time when I was dating my ex-wife, and she lived in Chicago. I went to Chicago to visit her, and it was 4th of July. And obviously in Canada, that wasn't a thing. And so I didn't know what to expect. I'm like, okay. She said, we're going to a 4th of July party. Okay, cool. That sounds like fun. And I've never seen anything more than a little tiny firecracker, right? Like in
Yeah.
Canada, it's basically illegal like everything else, except drugs. And, and so we go to this party, and they're like handing me things and saying, here, and I go, what do I do with this? And it's like an M80, like a little piece of dynamite, basically.
no.
And they said, light it and throw it. And I go, okay. So I light it, and I'm like, holy shit. And then I throw it, and it goes into the neighbor's yard. And like, I don't know, 15 minutes later or something, the neighbor I think the police came and said, you guys are using some rather large fireworks over here. And no, nothing really, nothing too terribly. And they said, well, your neighbor called with a complaint that someone blew up their rose garden. And I was like, yeah,
Oh,
that was me,
no.
sir. I'm sorry. I had no
Oh,
idea. I'm
no.
Canadian. I'm an idiot. And they were like, yeah, just be careful. So
Oh, no.
after the police left, what did they do? They put like 4 of these M80 things underneath a tire.
Yeah.
And they said, we're going to blow up the tire. So it shoots the tire like, I don't know, 50 feet in the air straight into the same neighbor's backyard. I mean, it was like, what are we doing here? We're going to go to jail. But
gosh.
anyways, so yeah, pyro's fun.
It is fun. And
Yeah.
hopefully, we can get some younger kids doing pyro and working with these vendors. And,
Well, I quote you all the time because you were, I don't know if it was during COVID, maybe around the same time that you were creating this business, but you said something to me that people look at our industry like we're a bunch of gypsies. And
Yeah.
and that there's no money to be made, and it's not a real job, and it's it's this traveling circus kind of job, and nobody takes it seriously. But you can
Yeah.
come into this industry brand new and make a really good living, and have a lot of fun and see the world and
see the world. That's one of the more important things to me, I think, is like seeing the world, because there's so many people that have just such a closed mindset on
Yeah.
other cultures and other countries. And I think it's really important to get people's minds to expand with travel. But
So how do you find these people? Are you like advertising to get them into?
a little bit, yeah. A lot of it's through high schools. Right now, the program is only in California. It needs to be successful for a year. So by the August or September, I think, of this year, it'll be able to expand nationally to the federal level.
What's keeping
So-
it back? Is it funding or something?
Yeah, it's a California-based program that, it's a government thing. This is the stuff that I wouldn't be able to talk about properly, because that's where
Yeah.
Colby, our
Somebody
program
else.
manager, kind of takes care of that. So, but yeah, it'll expand through the country, which is awesome. So any vendors can start sort of getting into the program with us.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's fun. It's nonprofit work is difficult, though. I mean, fundraising alone is impossible, especially today with the climate.
Yeah.
But we're working through it. We're starting to get some boots on the ground and getting a fundraising committee together and everything. That's the biggest part, right? We've been getting some grants, which is helpful, but like it's just it's not easy.
Yeah.
If there's anybody out there that wants to sponsor a curriculum
Yeah.
class, like let us know.
So you're going to
Here for
industry
it.
companies to sponsor these classes and stuff.
Yeah, we're trying to. That's the biggest plan, is like to try to get vendors, manufacturers to sponsor courses. So like lighting course and video
Yeah.
courses. it's an online learning platform that they have to do, right? Because in order to be an apprentice, you have to continue education by doing like online classes. So
Okay.
we have to create this curriculum, which is well on its way, but it costs a pretty penny. So
Yeah.
that's the most expensive part at the moment.
So does a young person, I guess they don't have to be young, but let's assume it's a 19 or 20-year-old kid comes in and says, I want to be a pyro person, or I want to be a video person, or whatever. I have no experience whatsoever. How does that work? Like, how do they get through that system?
There's an application process and an interview process. And once they go through that and they're accepted in the program, then they get placed with a vendor.
Okay.
Yeah.
A vendor.
Yeah, like, or a manufacturer. So like right now, we have a bunch of vendor partners that are placing the apprentices
I see.
into their warehouses to start learning the ropes, and they're doing all very,
Oh, I
very
see.
well.
So it's more of an apprenticeship program than it is a school.
It is, yes, it is. That is what it is. It's an apprenticeship program. It's
Okay, I
not
get
a
it now.
school. Yeah. So, so they apply and do an interview, and then they get paired with a vendor. And yeah, there's 6 right now in California that are going through the program.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, it's
Very
fun.
cool.
It's good, and they're doing very well. Yeah, so they're learning the ropes. I think we've got lighting and video and special effects right now. I think maybe audio. Yeah, I have to look at that.
So do
program.
they get paid in these jobs, or they're interns, or how does it work? They get paid.
They get paid.
That's amazing.
Paid registered apprenticeship program.
I
So
don't
registered
know.
as in like government registered, right? Like
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know why it would be hard. Like, you'd think there'd be a line down the block of people wanting to get into that.
There's a lot of people that want to actually do the program. The problem is getting, we don't have enough resources to have a ton of kids in it right now.
Yeah.
Apprentices. I don't want to say kids, because I would love to expand it to veterans at some point.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's very
That would be
important.
amazing. Yeah.
But I mean, for us, the challenge is just like getting things paid for so that we can boost our resources to be able to accept more,
Well, do you even have a full-time employee?
Yeah.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
You have one.
We have
And they basically run all the ins and outs of the day-to-day part of the business.
Yep.
Yeah,
Moving
it's hard,
forward.
man. What you're doing, this whole nonprofit thing, is really, really hard. I've been involved in far too many of them. I do more nonprofit business than I do profit business, and I really need to change that about myself, especially as I get older. It's like I'm busy 20 hours a day, and I go, did I make any money at all today, or did I just help lots of people? And
Which is good, right?
Oh, it's amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
I love. The problem is I say yes to everything, and
Guilty.
I mean, maybe it's the Canadian in us. I don't know, but I literally say yes to everything. And even when I'm not saying yes, I'm volunteering and saying, hey, you know what? Like, you should be looking at this. And I'll tell you what, let me give you a hand with that, and I'll show you how to work it or whatever. Like, it's just how I'm a pay forward kind of guy.
Same.
But what I've learned, sadly, the older I get, the more I learn, is that it doesn't always come back to you. Quite often, those same people that you paid it forward to, will step over you as you're laying dying on the sidewalk. They'll step right over you and keep on walking. And it's sad, but somewhat true. But it doesn't change who I am. I'm always going to do it. I'm always going to be that person, because it's just me, right?
Yeah, you're just putting it in the universe anyway, right? So,
Yeah, exactly. Maybe someday, it'll be like, there's a gate going this way and a gate going this way, and I'll kind of get nudged to the right direction somehow. I don't know how, because I've done a lot of bad shit in my life
as long
too.
as those people that are, stepping over you don't push you down,
Yeah,
so
right.
they can get in that gate for you.
Throw you into the burning pits. Yeah, that's bound to happen. I've got some enemies out there for sure. So, because you don't have enough going on, I've just discovered this morning that I think it's more Chris, your husband, but you have another business being started called Set Change.
Yeah.
And first of all, I love the name. I think it's a killer name.
Thanks.
And secondly, I wanted to tell you that I had this crazy idea. And this was probably 15 years ago, maybe 20 years ago. I had gone through the upstaging. Actually, it was probably at least 20 years ago, because it was when they moved from Mundelein, from Mundelein out to where they are now.
Yep.
It was probably only a year after they moved, and I was getting the tour from Huddleston. And
I talked to him this morning, by the way. Love
did
that
ya?
man.
Yeah.
Adore
And
that band.
so
Mhm.
we're walking by this area where it's just a bunch of junk, and I'm like, what is this? And he goes, oh, don't even ask. And I said, what? And he said, we just keep getting stuck storing sets here for people. And because they're huge tours, like the Stones and stuff like that, that we're heavily involved in, when they call asking, you always kind of go, oh yeah, we'll figure something out. And they're like, just for a few months, and then we'll either sell it or we'll decide to use it again. And then
Yeah.
it ends up there for like 3 years, right?
Oh gosh.
And one of the ideas that they had when I was actually walking through, I think it was the Steel Wheels tour or something like that. It was one of the big Stones tours. And they had all these stage decks that had just been dumped there.
Yeah.
And so they came up with this idea where they put legs on these stage decks and turned them into conference tables. And they wanted
nice.
they wanted to have the band autograph each one of them,
Yeah.
and then just lacquer over the autographs or something, right? It was a cool idea. And they priced them at $5,000, and they had all kinds of interest for them, but they had to get a sign off, and
Yeah.
they couldn't get the sign off. They were like,
Yeah.
just throw them away. We don't want to do that, you know? And, but I thought it was a brilliant idea. But anyways, the idea I had here in Florida, and probably in Tennessee as well, there's, well, not so much in Tennessee maybe now, but there's lots of land and where you can kind of go in the backwoods somewhere and build a large facility. And I kept thinking of having like this big, you know, almost like a Quonset kind of facility with all these sets stored in there. And it's a museum that people can pay to go to this rock and roll set museum. And every one of them is for sale, though. And
I'm excited to talk to you tomorrow about more of this.
yeah. Oh, geez. You've got some ideas. Have you been listening to my crazy brain while I'm laying awake at night and thinking up these crazy ideas? Because I love that idea. It's just my
Yeah.
problem is I have more ideas than I do of me and of
it's
money
just time
too. You know?
management, right? Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, you don't want to go out and find investors to pay for all that
That's
stuff.
the
And then
issue is you need to have investors.
yeah, so you know, that was just one of those ones that it was like, what a great idea, and then it just got thrown on the heap, and I never did anything with it. But I hope you're doing something like that. That'd be cool. But that one's
shall
exciting
see.
too.
Yeah, Set Change has 3 phases, and the first phase hasn't launched yet, but I'm hoping to get your help with it.
Yeah.
And it's just a marketplace, honestly.
Yeah.
Like we're trying to like keep it as like so it can kind of run itself as much as possible, right? For now,
Yeah.
it's just you know, the model is honestly kind of like a Facebook marketplace. Like
Yeah,
we're selling it,
yeah,
you know, or somebody's selling it, and it's a point people connect your thing, and yeah.
yeah. I will tell you that marketplaces are somewhere between the most incredible and the most fucked up business in the whole world. Like and every day it's both of those two. It
Yeah.
seems like something will happen and you'll be like, I love this business. And something happens and you go, God, what a horrible business. And, you know,
Sounds familiar.
yeah, yeah, that's true too. But the
Yeah.
very first problem with a marketplace is this thing, and you should get the book. It's called Cold Start Problem. Andrew Chin, I think his name is.
Okay.
And
Writing it down.
basically, the cold start problem is that they call it the chicken and egg problem too, because you either have supply and no demand, or you have demand and no supply. It's
Yep.
really hard to build both at the same time.
Yeah.
And so most marketplaces start on one side or the other. They either go all in on supply or go all in on demand. And once you have one of those two sides, generally the other side, you can then focus on them and they'll come, right?
Right.
And but I'll tell you, the magic happens when you have both of those things. And then there's this other keyword that they use in the marketplace world called network effects. And when network effects happens, for every one set you add 10 customers, and then they add more sets because there's more customers, and now the sets add, and you know, as you're building supply and demand, it just creates this sort of self-morphing thing that just turns into either hell or heaven. And again, every day is one of those two to me. Usually both, depending what time.
Oh man. Okay.
But I'm excited for you. It's a cool business.
Long road.
I think it's a good concept. It's a need because there is a lot of this stuff out there, and it's a cool name. And
thanks. For me, it was like it wasn't just about like. A lot of it was also just about being more eco-friendly, right?
Yeah. Recycling sets as opposed to putting them in landfills and stuff.
Totally. And I mean, I get a lot of questions, like smaller management teams that are like, we don't have the startup to build a set. Like we need risers, we need a drum riser, we need stairs, we need something on stage for the band and for our artists to kind of run around. Like, know anybody who has something in storage or whatever. And there's the one thing that I'm always looking for are the crank up carts for video, so that if you have like a video set on stage, it like can get higher and you can roll it on stage for a festival set and roll it off stage, right? Like that was the one thing I've been asking for those for years, and we always end up getting some version, but it's like, oh yeah, this video company has a set. And this video company has a set, but they're always like out or what. So like things like that, like things that we know exist and are just taking up space that doesn't need to be taken up. We can be on the road, Yeah. And I know that artists spend so much money on storage. So much money on storage.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Or some of the larger companies who have lots of space just end up giving the storage away to keep the client or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But and again, like I don't know how many times you've seen an artist use the same set, but it doesn't happen that often unless it's the same tour. Basically, just sort of keeps going.
Coldplay's great at it.
Are they?
Coldplay's great at it. Yes.
Yeah. Well, they're big on the whole earth and recycling thing, which is really cool anyways. But as a side note, I actually I sit on the board for the pyro company that does Coldplay.
Oh, okay,
or
cool.
that sells. I think they probably do it through, I don't remember who your SFX company
Strictly,
is.
yeah.
Yeah, so they sell to Strictly.
Yeah.
Nice. Really, really, really good people. Did I say pyro company?
Yeah.
Confetti company. Confetti company.
Hey.
Yeah, confetti company. Sorry. I sit on the board for the confetti company, Artistry in Motion.
Yeah, I love them.
Who provide all the confetti to. So, they're always telling me these stories of how Coldplay say, but the material needs to do this and it needs to be this and it's got to disappear in this amount of time and it's got to be biodegradable and it's got to be. So, they really make them, dig hard on the, like you wouldn't think there's any technology in confetti, but I've learned so much from these guys. Like there really is. There's a lot going on there.
Yeah, it's not just paper.
Yeah, but even if it is just paper, it's like very specific paper that has to be this reflective and this weight, and it has to flutter like this, and it's gotta, do all these things. And then you've got all these artists now who are printing like dollar bills on confetti, so they've got like fake money that they're shooting out, and it's wild. It's wild.
We did for Paramore a couple of years ago. We did different pieces that said this is why, which was their single time.
Oh, okay.
So fans were like collecting all three of those words so they could like frame them and put them in
that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another interesting thing that I've learned is there's a whole business in that souvenir confetti thing. Like, people are grabbing as much of it as they can and selling it on eBay. And it's wild. Wild.
We had a tour where we did like, we would put like 5 special pieces of confetti in like cannons. And like, if a fan found that piece, they could bring it to the merch table and get like something for free.
What a cool idea. That's a great idea.
I'm pretty sure like most of them were found, which is crazy to me. It's just like, who are these fans that are like literally like digging through the empty Coke bottles?
Well, or who's the confetti tech who's selling those pieces of confetti to somebody?
There you go. Hey, hadn't thought about it that way, but true.
You want the prize confetti? Here you go. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. I can't remember what tour it was, but it It was
Artistry
really
in
dope.
Motion, actually, speaking of confetti guys, I think it was the Super Bowl. They had a video that went viral during the Super Bowl. There was somebody got a camera on the guy that was, like, I think stuffing the cannons with the confetti right before, because at the Super Bowl, like, they've got green and white for the Eagles,
Yep.
and they've got red and whatever it is, white for Kansas City. And at the end of the game, they got to really quickly load those confetti cannons so that, they can blast them all right away. And you got to put the right stuff in, obviously. You don't want to have Kansas City colors when Philadelphia wins. But anyways, he was getting this ready or something, and he was doing something funny. I don't even remember what happened on the video. But they called him Confetti Guy. And this video got out on social media, and it's probably at like 4 million views or something right now. So he's
Viral
famous in
confetti guy.
Artistry in Motion. He's like, hey, I'm the confetti guy.
It's like the left shark from Katy Perry's performance.
Yeah,
like
it's
ages
true.
ago.
It's true. True. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So, what else did I want to talk to you about? There's so much.
We used to have people help stuff the confetti cannons for Kiss.
Oh.
And if there was anybody, like any sort of, musician or artist or whoever out front watching the show, we would make them do it with us.
Oh, really?
It was fun. Yeah.
Yeah,
have
until
fun with
somebody
that,
loses
yeah.
a hand or something, and then it's no good anymore.
Or stuff something accidentally that should not be,
Yeah, that's true,
blasted
too.
out of a confetti cannon.
That's true, too.
Yeah.
So, speaking of Kiss, what do you think of them going out and touring again after they retired? And,
Are they?
we're done. This is it. This is the final farewell tour of all 12 farewell tours
I
or
have
whatever.
not even heard any. Are they actually doing that?
Well, I don't know if they're touring or if it's just a show, but I believe it's more than one show, as I recall.
I don't know anything about it, to be honest.
And then I read that there's going to be guest appearances from, Peter Criss and, like, the Ace Frehley, the previous members and
crazy.
stuff.
I mean, my husband will be really excited about it. He's a big fan.
Is he?
But yeah.
I mean, I was for a while. Like, I mean, I was a massive fan almost 50 years ago. But
Yeah.
today, you know what? Like, I think I told you, I went and saw them. I don't know when it was. It was probably it was probably 19. It was 2019 in, was it Fort Lauderdale maybe?
Oh, okay.
And they were really good. Like well, I'm just looking at him going, he's 68 and he's 69, and like they're still shaking their ass and they're
and
still
those shoes
in
are
those shoes,
so
yeah. And
heavy.
they
They're so
they
heavy.
they didn't mail it in. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they really still put on a great show, and they sounded pretty good. And I mean, Kiss didn't set a very high bar for musicianship and all that kind of stuff. It was more about shaking your ass and blowing fire and spitting blood and stuff. But they really did put on a good show.
Yeah.
I was very impressed.
That was a good tour.
I didn't expect to be impressed, but I was.
Yeah, that was a good tour.
You were
liked
still
that
with them
one.
then, right? As I recall,
That was the last one. I
Yeah.
did,
And because I think I had just had Doc McGee on my podcast, and he's like, "Hey, we're coming down to Fort Lauderdale. I want you over at that show." And I said, "Oh, okay then."
Oh, that man.
And my girlfriend is British and kind of proper, and she's never been a real heavy rock kind of person. Like, she's more of a Rod Stewart or Elton John kind
Yeah.
of person. So I took her to her first, like, that kind of a concert, and she was like loving it. She was having such a great time. And she's
It's a
5
good time.
feet tall, and she got her picture taken with the guys,
man.
And
She come up to like their
their
chest,
waist.
basically,
Yeah,
like
their
waist. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. I'll send you the picture later.
I had one of my mom and my dad with them, and,
Oh,
and
that's
she was
cool.
pretty short too. And it was just like looking. She's just like, who is
Yeah,
that? Like looking up.
you're a giant, man. Yeah.
It is so funny.
I love that,
Yeah.
though. But, I mean, it is
Yeah.
funny that they're going out again. Like, I
I had no idea. Yeah.
think at some
That's crazy.
point, using a British term, you're taking the piss, with your
Yeah.
fans when you keep saying, okay, this is it. Like, the Motley Crue one where they wrote a contract to their fans saying, we will never tour again. This is it. It's final. So, in other words, pay us these exorbitant prices for these tickets. because you're never going to see us again. And then, COVID happens and they come out right after COVID with a stadium tour.
Yeah,
So
I know.
money is
That
powerful.
It is, honestly. And when you're sitting around and you've been doing this for so long, it's like it's really difficult to like get out of that lifestyle, right? Like
Yeah.
that to me, I think like if I'm home for a really, really long time, I start getting, antsy. And
Yeah.
I think it's just because of years and years of just being on the go constantly, right? And I
Yeah.
can't imagine if you're doing, if you're playing in a band for what is it, like what
50
year is it?
years or
50th?
something.
Yeah, 50th anniversary. I mean, I can't imagine if you've been doing that for 50 years and then suddenly you're just nothing. It's like, what's
Yeah.
next?
Are you too young to remember Triumph?
I know, yes.
Yeah.
I know Triumph, but yes.
Yeah. You wouldn't have been a fan. You were too young.
No.
But
I
mean,
also didn't have a lot of music exposure up in northern Vermont, right? Like we
Oh, yeah,
didn't
that's
have
true.
a lot. Like we had one AM radio station in the area. And then as like I got older, we got some FM stations out of Burlington and out of Montreal, and
Yeah.
one FM station opened up in
Yeah.
that area. So like, but we didn't have, it wasn't like when I was a kid, up until like 12 years old or whatever, we didn't really have a lot of music exposure. We didn't have MTV or
Yeah.
anything. So,
Well, I grew up on Triumph. Being a
Nice.
Canadian, it was Triumph and Rush for me.
yeah.
And so fast forward to now, I'm good friends with Gil Moore, the drummer from Triumph, because he has a recording studio where like a lot of big acts, Drake and Metallica's recorded there and stuff.
Yep.
It's called Metalworks.
Okay.
And he also has a rental company, a sound and lighting and video rental company, also under the same name, Metalworks. And so I've done business with him for 10 years through GearSource. And anyways, I've been talking with him. He's they're doing a 50th anniversary tour this year with no original members.
Oh, wow.
And they're going to have like hologram or holograph or whatever
yeah.
that
They're gonna do
technology.
the- yep.
But I think they're using LED screens that are see-through LED screens or whatever. But anyways, the real band is going to be playing on, these holograms.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a live band though, which is made up of, like, I think Phil X is in it, and just some really, really good
I just
players.
saw him a month ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
did ya?
Yeah.
With who?
It's great. Oh, he was just in Nashville, and a
Oh.
bunch of us went and said hi.
He's
No,
such a
yeah.
talented guy. That
so
guy,
great.
like, if you had to build a band around a guy, he'd be a really good pick. He's a great
great.
singer, great player, good guy, a lot of
He's
fun.
such a good guy. Yeah.
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 But-
It was really good to see him.
Yeah, so there's going to be this sort of all-star band kind of behind the screen, and then
Love it.
Triumph on the screen, and they're going to tour this thing.
What a
So
concept.
I think they're doing
That's
2 or 3
interesting.
shows as a little package to start,
Yeah,
and then they're going to see if the promoter wants to do the full tour.
That's so
And
cool.
yeah,
like
so
it.
it's going to be interesting.
I used to design a lot of these like tribute shows. There was a actually Canadian promoter out of Western Canada that I used to do. Like I think we did a Bee Gees one, and what else did we do? I think I helped out with their Pink Floyd version, and then I helped out with their Beatles one at one
Okay.
point. And it was so much fun because they were just my favorite medium, like a theater.
Yeah.
And they just ran lean and mean and made good profit, and yeah, I just get to, I mean, the Bee Gees one was really, really, really fun. Like
Yeah.
I still am a Bee Gees fan now because of that show. So
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, the tribute bands that are out now, like every once in a while I'll see a Journey one pop up and I'll just be like,
Yeah.
whoa. And I mean, there's this one, I forget what they're called, but the singer looks like Steve Perry. He does the whole thing with his shoulder and stuff just like Steve Perry. Sounds exactly like Steve Perry.
Wow.
I mean, like I saw a video and I'm going, what tour was that? And then I realized it wasn't Journey. And my girlfriend comes in and goes, oh my God, he sounded so good back then. And I'm like, no, that's not him. Like, that's some dude who's in a fake Journey band. But there's so many really good cover bands right now.
I can only imagine like the scrutiny they get too, right? Like, I mean, they must get so much hate thrown at them if they've like done anything off of, that's not like completely
Oh,
what
it's
the
got to be
band that they're
perfect.
being,
Is
you
that
know
what
what
you're
I mean?
saying?
It's got to be for, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I can only imagine like how difficult that must be.
Yeah.
Like if they're not adhering to exactly what that band that they're
Yeah,
tributing.
you can't ad lib. You
Yeah,
gotta
you
you
can't
gotta
at all. So you got
copy
to
it
be on top
completely.
of your shit when you do that.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
yeah.
how are you though with these bands that are like touring with no original people, like Foreigner, for example, no original members?
I mean, I I don't really watch any of this stuff
Yeah.
but I feel like, they got to do what they got to do, right? Like if they're selling tickets and they still want to tour and then I mean, and they're doing
Yeah,
what they
it's
love,
just
then
weird. It's just kind of weird, you know. It's like a good friend of mine is a guitar player in Calgary,
yeah.
and last week I was talking to him, and I said, "What are you doing tonight?" And he said, "Oh, I got to go meet up with some of the guys from April Wine. They're in town right now, and I've got a few friends in the band." And I said, "Oh, what are they doing?" And he said, "It's April Wine." Who was it? April Wine. There were three bands: BTO, April Wine, and I forget who the third band was for some reason. But anyways, one of them had one original member, one had none. BTO has, I think, one. And, they're out doing this tour where three bands, there's a total of three original members from all three bands combined, right?
Wow.
And it's selling really well, apparently. So, hey,
People want to
maybe
be entertained,
nostalgia.
and if they're hearing, yeah, exactly. If they're hearing their songs of their youth,
Yeah.
no matter who's playing with them, as long as it's like adhering to that
Yeah.
band's.
Well, or generations. Like my son, grew up listening to my music in my cars and stuff, and so like my ex-wife, his mom, has always been a huge Queensryche fan. She grew up
Yeah.
with Queensryche. She
Nice.
worked for their record company for a number of years. She got very friendly with them, and to this day, like she's got a Queensryche tattoo on her ankle and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if you know, but right now Queensryche is two bands. There's Queensryche with the band plus a new singer, and then there's Jeff Tate's Queensryche.
Got it. Yeah.
So it was Jeff Tate's Queensryche that was in town last week, and she dragged him out to go to it, and he sent me some
Did he
pictures
love
of
it?
him and Jeff Tate and stuff.
Nice.
And he's like, "Dad, it was actually really good." Like he knows every word to every song because
That's awesome.
in his mom's car, it's all she
Yeah,
listens
yeah,
to,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, of
And
course.
so he grew up, going Jet City Woman, and so he knew every song, and he was like, "Dad, it was actually really good. I enjoyed it." So, and
I
he's
do
like a
find
hip
that
hop kid.
There's a pretty cool insurgence of like nostalgic rock coming up right now. I feel like that's like a lot of people are doing reunion tours that you wouldn't think would have ever done a reunion
Yeah.
tour.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I'm honestly like I'm really excited about Oasis. I know that
yeah.
I'm so excited
So
about
you
that.
think that's actually going to happen?
Oh God, I hope so.
It sure seems like it
Yeah,
could
I'm hoping I
ignite
can-
at any moment,
I know.
right?
I'm really
Yeah.
hoping I can catch it when it comes to North America, but
For the minute while they're together.
I know. But
Yeah.
I mean, there just seems to be a lot of that going on. People just want to hear songs that that give them comfort and happiness,
Yeah.
I guess. I'm not
Yeah.
sure what it is or helps them relive those days or
Yeah.
helps their kids.
Yeah, there's a huge appetite for it. It seems like
Yeah.
it just the tours that are still selling out and selling loads of tickets, like Journey and Styx, for example, or REO and Styx or whatever. And REO, I know they just blew up a little bit.
Yeah.
But some of those bands, like who knew? Because I remember my first Styx album. I was like probably 8 years old or something, and this is a long friggin' time ago.
Yeah.
And who knew they'd still be touring now? Like I had no idea. And I guess the Stones would probably tell you the same thing. Mick would be like, "Yeah, I didn't think so.
I mean, that's a big
I
one.
didn't think this was going to happen."
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're excited. We're hoping to see Metallica here coming through in a couple weeks, and then Chris also really wants to see AC/DC. So
Oh yeah.
I've got some rock shows in my future, I think.
Yeah. I saw Metallica in Edmonton last year because I have my house up there in Banff, right? Mm-hmm. And so I was talking with Rob. Maybe he was even on my podcast or something. And he's like, "You got to come and see it." And I said, okay, are you coming to Western Canada? And I'm expecting no, because most bands
Yeah.
don't. And if they do, it's Vancouver, right? So I thought I had it wasn't going to happen. And then he said Edmonton. And one of my longtime best buddies lives in Edmonton, and it was his birthday that day. And so I took him and his girlfriend and went to the show, and I actually really enjoyed it. I loved
Nice.
it. And I've never been a
Yeah.
Metallica guy, but that show, like just the enormity of it all, just like Coldplay. Like I'm not a massive Coldplay fan, but the size and scope of that show, I would love to see at some point. And yeah, I mean, it's just like it's cool. It's cool that
Yeah.
Metallica is still touring. It's weird but
I'm
cool.
excited to see it,
Yeah.
honestly. And I'm also really excited to see Rob and what he's created.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the whole thing. Like just the way they do In the Round is just very unique and different.
Yeah.
And it's just cool. I
Yeah.
really really enjoyed it. Other than the fact that it was loud. Like I mean, and that's when I started feeling like an old guy. Because I've never
Yeah.
complained about volume, but I was standing in front of the subs, and it was just like.
Oh, gosh.
It was just beating the hell out of me.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it was really great. It was a great show.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good. I'm excited. I think that's coming right up here, actually. I think it's like the beginning of May.
Yeah.
So,
They're
yeah.
like Coldplay too, right? They just keep touring, keep
just keep
touring, keep
going.
going. It's a machine. They own all their
love
gear, or they own a lot of their gear. They own the sound system. They own all the video screens, I think. I think a bunch of the staging too, maybe.
I mean, if you go out that long, it kind of makes sense, I guess.
It kind of does, yeah. And
Yeah.
they've had this partnership, I think, on the sound system with Meyer forever, where they just keep upgrading to a new system. And so, yeah, it makes sense. I mean,
Nice.
Journey did that way, way back in the earliest days when they first started. They bought all their own production. And they toured with all their own stuff, and they had a sound and lighting company, and they'd rent it out when they weren't using it. And
Smart.
Pink Floyd did that with their sound system with Britannia Row.
I think I knew that.
Yeah. Well, if you listen to my podcast, you'd learn all this stuff. Yeah. So I had the Britannia Row guys on too.
That is one I'm sad I missed out on is David.
David
coming
Gilmour?
through David Gilmour coming through. I'm so sad I missed out
so
on
good.
that.
So
I
good.
was really hoping he would announce some more dates this summer or this year, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
Mark says no, but a lot of people I know say yes. So because it did so well, and he had a lot of fun, and he still feels like he can still do it. And I mean, he played well, he sounded good, and but Mark, I don't know if that's just Mark
Yeah.
being Mark, but Mark says no, it's not going to happen, and it's over. But
God,
I
I
hope
would
you
love
get
to
to
see
see it
that.
because it was cool. Like that
I
whole
hope
thing
so.
he did
Yeah, I
with
want
the
to see Mark's.
with the
yeah,
stylist
exactly. I want
was
to see
really
Mark's
neat.
work on that too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was neat.
for sure.
He's now
well, put in a universe that it'll come back. Hopefully.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. What else? What else are you doing that we haven't talked about? Because you got about 42 companies. I know you closed the house design one.
Yeah,
right?
the
That's
staging
gone.
company went away
Yeah.
after COVID.
Yeah.
No sense keeping that going. Just that, like, we're really focused on the playground and on launching set change
Yeah.
as soon as we can.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's all pretty manageable though. It's kind of like if you surround yourself with the right people, then everything's pretty manageable. But I'm looking forward to having July and August here in Nashville. I'm going to go spend weekends at the lake as much as possible. And in fact, I'm going to be here all of May too. So
That's
I'm
cool.
kind of looking forward to spending time at the lake and
Are you
trying
guys really
to-
enjoying that lake house?
Yeah, it's
You've
so
had that
good.
for
We were
what, 3
there over
years?
the weekend. Yeah, we've had it, since, when we get it, December 21.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's, we were there this weekend cleaning the boat out and getting ready to put in the party barge, as we call it.
yeah.
And other than that, I mean, just like getting these shows off the ground, building the company up, honestly, building up some up and coming designers through the company and trying to just build, I don't know, build.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah. It's not, right now everything feels pretty calm and manageable at this very moment. Right.
Yeah.
I'm sure that will change very soon. June is going to be crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not at Coachella.
Yeah.
We have
That's
artists
good.
there, but I'm not there, so I don't have to go out this weekend for there because I'll be in Vienna.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Everything's pretty
That sounds cool.
rolling.
I mean,
Yeah.
I want your life. It sounds fun. It
Right
sounds
now.
amazing. Calm, amazing, successful.
If you would have called me in January, it would have been a very different story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would have
Well,
been a little
I mean,
crazy.
I love all the projects you have going on. I think you are doing some really cool things. I mean, the nonprofit
Thanks.
one is obviously, it is what it is. It's hard. It's hard.
It is
It's always
hard.
hard to do things that are new and different and people have never done. But then you
Yeah.
add to it the component of, a not-for-profit, that relies on government funding and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Then it's just like that much more complex, right?
Yeah, and I think it's just a little bit more stressful right now.
Yeah.
Just with the current climate. But we're just gonna roll with the punches
Yeah.
as they happen. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you
Okay.
what, you're a champion because I know you just had dental work this morning and you managed to smile and laugh and
I don't
giggle
know
all
if
the way
anybody
through
can
this.
hear that, but
No.
like the entire left side or right side of my face has been the entire stage left side of my face.
I think
is,
you talk better with dental work, so I think
Hey!
you should do it more often. I understand you way better now.
Maybe they should just give me nitrous all the time. Yeah,
That's
I mean,
funny.
it's good. It was supposed to be a super easy appointment, and then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
got needles all in my mouth. But yeah, I'm feeling good now. It's starting to wear off, which is great.
Yeah.
Just in time for happy hour with a homie that's in town.
Oh, cool. Fun.
Yeah.
Love to join you. Well,
Anytime.
thank you, Sooner. I appreciate you coming on again very
Thank
much.
you.
I want you to come back anytime you got something to promote or talk about or share or whatever.
Absolutely.
And look forward to talking to you tomorrow about the other stuff.
Woohoo! I'm
Yeah.
excited to tell you about phase 2 and phase 3.
Yeah. Can't wait. Can't wait. All right. Have a good one.
All right, you too.